Hola, and welcome to the Overly Animated Podcast, where we take animation seriously. We talk everything animation here, including T.K.O, Let's Be Heroes, which we'll be getting into right now. I'm your host, Bonilla, and today I'm joined by Michelle Anderer.
Hello.
And Steve Zec.
Hello.
You can find previous discussions we've had about T.K.O at overlyanimated.com. You can also subscribe to our T.K.O feed at overlyanimated.com/iTunes, where we appreciate any ratings and reviews you want to leave us there or on whatever podcast you listen to us on. But yeah, today we'll be talking as usual about T.K.O. Cartoon Network has gifted us with another 4 episodes to talk about. A little less than last time, but there's still actually a lot to talk about, I think, in these 4. We have P.O.I.N.T to the Plaza, T.K.O.'s House, Red Action to the Future, and Dendy's Power. So we've got a wide variety of characters to talk about here. I guess we'll get right into just what episodes stood out to you the most, and we'll talk about the stuff from there. But Michelle, let's go with you first. What episode stood out to you the most of these 4?
I was really torn this time because T.K.O.'s house was so good, but also Red Action came back. So I feel like those 2 are definitely the 2 highlights for me. I thought Dendy's Power was really nice, but like it was also kind of just like, in my opinion, okay. I mean, I know we're all like big Dendy fans, so maybe the 2 of you will feel a little more high on it, but like it wasn't like the standout for once, which surprised me because usually I'm really, really high on Dendy episodes. And P.O.I.N.T to the Plaza was nice. It was fun, nice little self-contained thing. But I was pretty like, like average on it. But yeah, I feel like overall there's a lot to get into with this chunk, and I mean, I have so much to say about T.K.O.'s house and Red Action. So
yeah, but all right.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a bit of Dendy blasphemy, but I think I agree with you that like the Dendy episodes have like, I think, a higher baseline than some other episodes, and like this one didn't quite reach it, right? Like, but we'll get into stuff that stood out and stuff that maybe we have issues with that episode. But Steve, what about you? Of these 4 episodes, was there one in particular that stood out?
I don't know, really. I loved all 4 episodes. All 4 episodes give me something that I wanted and just excites me about the show. I agree with you. The Dendy's Power one was kind of a weak Dendy episode, but that's because the bar is so high. Right. And really, for me, my all-time favorite one is still going to be the OK Dendy, Let's Be Heroes. And this one, like I said, I think that episode has spoiled me on Dendy in terms of every episode thereafter. It's not going to seem as good because that episode was so great.
You set your expectations too high for our little one.
But TKO's house was interesting in terms of, I think they're really hinting. I really think Shadowy Figure's KO's dad.
Oh my god, yeah.
Okay, you've blown the lead, so we'll go there first.
Now.
Yeah. And,
just a summary here at T.K.O.'s house. K.O. goes to visit T.K.O. in his mind. He realizes that T.K.O. is very obsessed over a shadowy figure, and he's like, "Fine, I'll help." They find shadowy figure, and we get into this whole discussion of shadowy figure sort of giving an explanation, T.K.O. seeing through it, and then we don't really get answers. So, update on shadowy figure theories, guys. I think that's the big thing here, right? Like, what's going on here?
Well, I mean, I feel pretty long ago, back in season 1, we were saying how, isn't it interesting that Shadowy Figure and Laser Blast, you have the same voice actor? And, whatever happened to Laser Blast? So I feel like, Laser Blast is probably definitely Shadowy Figure at this point, confirmed. And Prob's also, KO's father, too. Yeah.
You gotta give it, T.K.O. probably much better detective than K.O. K.O. was so ready to drop the case just like that.
Yeah, he's like, typical villain response.
Thank goodness for T.K.O.
Well, see, because he's a cynic, he's able to see through the lies of others.
Exactly.
Yeah, the only other person who probably could have done that was P.O.I.N.T.
Yeah, true.
Though she probably doesn't really care anyway, so she probably just drop it anyway for other reasons, like she's too lazy to really pursue it.
Yeah. I was just saying, like, do both of you also agree that these theories are probably pretty firm? Like, that he's also Laser Blast and also KO's dad?
I think so.
Yeah.
The one thread I feel is still missing here, like, where's Professor Venomous in all of this?
I know! I think Professor Venomous is a different person.
Yeah.
You think?
Yeah, I do. They can't all be the same person.
I say Laser Blast's twin brother. That's...
I mean, honestly, I would accept that.
Or at least his brother. It doesn't have to be a twin brother, just a brother.
Okay, so here's a thing here. At the end of this, K.O. and T.K.O. are like deliberating over their conclusions here, and T.K.O. ends up being satisfied with the explanation that, well, you're a part of me, so you belong here, and the shadowy figure also gives this explanation, like, you're just a manifestation of his negative emotions. You were always in there. I didn't create you. But, like, I feel like we had already theorized that from the beginning, that this wasn't really a new creation. It's just, like, something that had been amplified. But how do you feel about this development of just, like, going deeper into TKO's nature of existence?
I mean, I don't think any of us were surprised. I think we kind of figured he was that balanced to KO, especially once they started actually getting along. So it's more just like, yeah, that makes total sense. He's just a manifestation of other parts of, who KO is. But the thing that makes me sad, and this is what I had theorized before, was like KO gave him a punching bag and was like, yep, you're all set. You won't, this is enough for you. And in TKO's house, we learned that, like, he's kind of really bored. And, like, we focus so much on shadowy figure, but now that that's not going to be an issue for a while, I mean, TKO's still, like, kind of stuck in this very nicely dressed up prison, and I think he's going to get really lonely, and he's going to keep wanting more. Which makes total sense. So what are we going to do with this as an idea?
I wonder maybe Dendy could figure out a way that those two can exist at the same time eventually. Like, maybe not
all the time outside of fighting?
Yeah, become his own separate person. I mean, just they could live, like, we could come out of KO's body and just has his freedom. Perhaps.
Although the problem is that KO in this episode is still hesitant to let TKO out because he realizes that TKO is going to do evil things on his own. So I'm not sure.
Not now. I'm talking about in the future.
TKO's still a part of KO. So can he really? Does it make sense for him to exist outside of KO entirely?
Anyone notice in TKO's house? There was a picture of Carol there.
Mm-hmm.
So technically she is his mom. So
yeah.
I still gotta wonder, how does he feel about Carol and Mr. Guard dating? I think he might be a little more anxious.
I think he's really embarrassed by it.
Yeah. But I do think Michelle raises a good point here. Like, they hammer home here that TKO is KO's negative emotions. So it wouldn't really make sense for us to separate them, because then you have KO just being a totally perfect character with no negative emotions.
Mm-hmm.
Like, so you need them both to have KO be fleshed out. So I don't really buy that line, but I do agree with the possibility that we're going to include Dendy, because we still have that line as well on the side, like Dendy and KO.
Yeah, she's been investigating it for a while.
Yeah, Dendy's been investigating, trying to control TKO. So we could always keep Dendy around in this, and, like, perhaps adding to the whole control aspect of it.
Oh, it'd be great though. Maybe in the future we have turbo versions of other characters. Get to see maybe like Turbo Dendy, Turbo Rad, Turbo P.O.I.N.T.
Yeah, why does KO have this weird, double personality, but nobody else seems to? Is that just because of, his DNA, or can everyone else have this kind of power?
Yeah, I guess he gets it because, like, shadowy figure somehow pulls it out of him, but...
Was that unique to KO, or did he just decide to choose KO, but he could have chose anyone?
Right. Although, if we're going on the theory that it is his dad, then we could think, like, okay, well, maybe he knows there's something different with KO, and that's why he's focusing on him specifically.
Could shadowy figure be Turbo? What's the guy's name?
Laser Blast.
Laser Blast. Yeah, could that just be Laser Blast? His turbo side took over a long time ago, and
I don't know. no, because we gotta think about this. Like, for real, if he's Laser Blast and he's also KO's dad, why did he turn evil? The only thing I can think of is in the flashback. I think it's in Let's Take a Moment when they're talking about, we discovered the enemies, ball things. There are 3 of them. They do different things. One of them shrinks stuff. One of them opens up like a space portal, and one takes away Hero's power. So I think maybe, because we saw Laser Blast, he didn't seem like the most awesome person. He wasn't like a jerk, but he was kind of
yeah, we definitely called him shady.
He was kind of shady. So I could imagine a personality like that. If he lost his power, maybe that was enough to spin him and be like, well, if I can't be a hero anymore, then I guess I'll be a great villain. And maybe that's what made him what he is now. But does Carol know about that? I'm really interested where that path could lead down.
Yep. Very interesting. I'm just excited though that they're going on with continuing with the plot here. I wonder how long they're going to stretch this out.
Yeah, I do feel like this is kind of a long game thing.
Yeah, they don't seem to be in any hurry. Every maybe 9 episodes, we get another little something. So
yeah, I mean, Shadowy Figure just disappears when we actually get to the important questions.
Yeah.
So they're going to be playing cat and mouse here. But as for the rest of the episode, I think that entire Shadowy Figure sequence, also when they're fighting, for that animation in particular stood out to me, just very smooth, like Shadowy Figure sidestepping T.K.O. and T.K.O. Well, I can't call him T.K.O., can I? Because it's actually K.O. and T.K.O. synchronizing.
Yeah.
I did see somewhere they wanted to call him SKO, like synchronized KO, but
SKO.
SKO.
That's gonna take time to hold. But
I think this episode I said we saw the first fusion in OKKO.
It's kind of
I guess that is accurate. I love that when they first fuse, that KO has one hand that's normal and one hand that has nail polish, and then one eye that has eyeshadow on it. I just think that's amazing.
And that they're fighting for control, and he ends up being a rag doll out of the store. It reminded me of that online game Quap. Did you guys ever play Quap?
Never heard of it.
What's Quap, Alex?
Well, the letters Q and W control one side of the guy's body, and O and P control the other side of the body, and you're trying to get as far as possible without falling on your face.
It does seem like that game. Actually,
it was very popular in 8th grade.
I can see that.
But so we have all that stuff, and then at the end, KO devises this synchronization not suits that they wear together.
It's basically Pacific Rim, and they're drifting together.
KO is actually a mech.
Yep. A very fleshy mech.
Yeah. Also, just a note I saw, when they put on these suits and they combine, there's drips of blood coming out of their nose. I found that to be an interesting detail.
I liked it.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So, that was a very strong episode. Related to this, over in Point to the Plaza, we do have mentions of Carol and Gar's history with Point that I guess kind of connects to our theories. Because at some point, Foxtail, who is now the leader of Point supposedly, and recruited Gar and Carol, at some point she says something like, she's saying to these gloops that they destroy and hurt innocent people, and then just snarks at Gar, you two have a lot in common, or something like that.
Ooh.
Now I'm wondering, is that referring to the thing that we saw of the failing to stop Laser Blast leaving, or is that something else?
Probably, because right after that is when he quit Point. So, and I'm sure everyone knew that it was him. So, I mean, I'm assuming that's what it was about.
I just wonder though. He definitely has a very negative exit from Point. He's anti-Point.
Really bitter. What's up with that? I mean,
that's why I think it might be something else besides that. Because also, Gar's I told you I don't want Point around here anymore. So It's
I
a
find
strange
it-
grudge.
I find it interesting, Gar and Enid, they kind of really mirror each other in this episode and their attitudes about stuff in the world.
Well, yeah, they have that nice bonding sequence. So it's like, and
Yeah.
Enid's like, so you're saying we're pointless?
Oh, I
Yeah.
love that joke. But I do think though, we see what happened in the past with Mr. Gar and Point and his ouster. Like I said, with Eden, it's kind of like the that flashback we have in Eden and Elodie episode. It's a similar thing in terms of they're just kind of bitter and jaded towards like the hero industry. And then of course you have K.O. who's so optimistic and stuff. It's just nice little contrast.
Yeah, for once, I'm going to accept the Elodie reference because that was actually relevant to this episode.
Well, I'm pretty sure though. The when Eden was talking about someone will let you down eventually. That was Elodie. That was what she was talking about. And to my surprise, K.O.'s hero here in this episode, he wasn't that much of a jerk. He was just kind of not all that, but
he was just kind of dumb.
Yeah, just
and
dumb.
A little too into himself.
yeah. I was expecting him to be someone who just pretty much just like gives no regard for human life from the citizens and just be all about himself, not caring about the innocents being injured or not.
No, but yeah, he seems like an okay guy. I think this is our only guest star of the batch. He was voiced by Kurt Angle, who I believe is a WWE wrestler. But so he is just very bland, but I think that's the point of his character. But also just keeping with the point stuff. Also, I should note that K.O. at some point says, "Where's my mommy?" And just remind me, like, wait, the Carol is part of Point Still theories. Are we still going with that?
Well, I mean, something's going on with Carol. Because, we had that scene where she, goes back into, the bodega and she has, that earpiece on. She's like, oh, no, everything's under control. You don't need to send anyone in. So, what's that up about?
Is she also kind of the Point spy for Mr. Gar in terms of keep an eye on Gar?
Yeah, I think it has something to do with Mr. Gar for sure.
Yeah. And I feel like, though, when that's revealed, it could cause a very strain on their relationship. There's a spy all along.
Yeah, we're definitely gonna get some the relationship drama if we get that far. But yeah, that line stood out to me. Because K.O. is just like, "Where's my mommy?" in the middle of this. But and also by the end, Enid ends up saving the day due to her quick thinking, realizing that the gloop can be frozen. And Chip Damage gives Enid basically an acceptance letter to Point Prep, and K.O. discerns that Enid wants to go.
I'm so happy.
Well, why? Because we might get Elodie again?
Yeah, we will definitely get Elodie.
Yeah,
those two need to make up.
This is the best, a bunch of Elodie without Elodie being in it. The closest we get to having her back without having her back in terms of the setup, because I know it's going to happen eventually. And also, I do think it'd be interesting to meet some other prep school characters and see interact with them, because I'm sure a lot of them are going to have very big heads, snobby, full of themselves, very egotistical, and seeing Eden in that environment, it could be a really fun episode. Maybe we should bring Rad along too, just to shake things up.
Rad and Point would be awesome.
Just to take over the school from all the prepsters.
Well, see, that's actually sort of a question to ask here. If we were to go down this Enid goes to Point Prep's storyline, does that take Enid out from the main storyline?
I don't think so. I think she just go there every so often.
I have to bring the show up. My Little Pony Friendship and Magic, something similar happened with a character who goes to an academy. A character called Rainbow Dash, and she's still able to do that and still be a regular on the show, so I think we'll be fine.
Yeah, I think they'll balance it.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, that was just a brief worry that entered my mind because I love Enid episodes.
And that will also give more time maybe for Rad maybe to have some spotlight.
Yeah, Rad hasn't really been in any of these episodes. What's going on? Did Ian get really busy? Did they just, what happened? I miss Rad.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, he got that time skip episode, I guess.
I guess that feels like forever ago.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Now, other thoughts on Foxtail? We brushed on her, but like she shows up in this episode again. Is
She's
very
cool.
bossy.
I like her a lot as a character, and I like her super like gruff voice, and I like her design. I was happy to see more of her. We didn't see any of Rippy Roo though. That's a shame.
Is Rippy Roo dead?
I don't know. He was the same age as Elbow and Carol, so. Where's he?
I'm thinking though, maybe perhaps we might in the future see a junior like Ace Point Division a squad, junior Point Division squad. I guess LD be part of that, and maybe introduce some other new characters. Maybe 3 or 4, like 3 or 4 team squad. That'd be interesting.
It's possible.
Yeah, I mean, if you want to include Enid in that kind of episode, sure.
Mm-hmm.
She'd be like the fourth wheel. Like, can't she like? Because I'm pretty sure though, as bad as Emily probably was in the past in her debut episode, I'm probably the other squad members are probably twice as worse, at least one worse. I imagine a male character, this male snobby little character who's just gonna get on Enid's last nerves.
Okay, this concludes Steve Fanfiction Corner.
You're right,
if you'd like to go find his archive of our own accounts, feel free to go follow him there. Speaking of Rad, we do actually get a brief scene of him, like, because all the stuff is happening with the gloops. He's driving up in his van.
He's like, nope, and he backs up. That's true.
So, like, the 5 seconds we got of Rad in this episode was top notch. Chip Damage has a line here. These gloops appear to enjoy my spooning, and then he pulls out a drill.
Man,
he's drilling after spooning.
Whoa! I'm surprised they got away with that.
I'm surprised that Alex noticed this and pointed it out during our discussion.
That's my job here.
This is not where my mind went at all. I mean, this is true.
Well, we were able to have that back in Red Action episode, so I guess we can get away with anything.
Hold on, we'll get to that.
No, I'm talking about that her previous episode. I'm talking about.
Okay, but one final thing from this before we get to Red Action, but like also just when they're going through the vents to find the freezer, they find a possessed Crinkly Wrinkly eating ice cream. That was a very odd gag.
Crinkly Wrinkly's just like everywhere and nowhere at the same time, you know.
Yeah, and his eyes were glowing. I couldn't get over.
Force to be reckoned with. I'm still not over his amazing submission to the film festival. That was so top notch.
Yeah, that was probably his peak.
Yeah.
Okay, so now we can shift over to Red Action to the Future, which I think is in the running for best episode of this batch, perhaps.
Yeah, it's in the running for sure.
Yeah, I loved it, even though the ending, like I said, it kind of confuses me a bit. I don't really like this like alternate timeline stuff. It's just so confusing sometimes, but that didn't hurt the episode.
I usually am with you. Like, I don't really like time travel stuff. But, like, here they treat it with such nonchalance, and, like, Red Action is the one explaining it. Like, yeah, whatever, I just did this. Like, I just like, okay.
Yeah.
Like, and also just Red Action is so cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
She can get away with anything.
Yeah, I'm disappointed we did not see that the Black Ranger again.
Yeah, we didn't get a lot of the Heat Troopers.
But yeah, we don't see her.
Yeah, Michelle, what was your opinion on Red Action Enid interaction here?
Oh, it was so good and so fraught with feelings. And poor Enid. She's like, it's so hard, especially when you're a teenager and you really like someone, to try to play it cool. And that's like literally like what Enid is as a character, like always trying to like play it cool and always act like she doesn't care. And it's like so sad because like she has several moments when Red Action's checking in on her when she's jumping between the timelines and she's like, okay, I think I have to go again. And he's like, yeah, sure, whatever. And Red Action's like, oh, okay. And it's just, yeah. And then when she comes back and she's really old and, you know, it's like, wow, I mean, you know, now this is the last time I'm probably ever going to see you again. Like, I got to tell you, I wish we had more time together. I'm, like, glad for what we had, but, like, I wish we had like, years. And it's just like, oh, my God. It really hit me. It was so good, but, like, very relatable, too.
Yeah, it seems Eden's like relationship problems is always from lack of communication, people telling how they just spilling out their feelings, how they really feel. That's always been kind of Eden's like problems. First with Elodie and now with Red.
Rad though, because Rad was never like he was
different. I think it's different though. I think with Elodie, Elodie's the one who just can express her feelings.
Steve is just using this as an excuse to get Elodie in here.
But with if Enid's like, we just speak up and say to Red how she feels, everything will be all right.
Right. But as a teen, you don't think that way.
Yeah.
But yes, the angst was very high in this episode, and I do think that the final sequence where like it is old Red Action's like every time I tried to tell you, I chickened out, and like there's blushing and all, like that scene was very touching.
The only thing
when old Red Action leaves, and Enid's just kind of like feels like crushed and hopeless for a second. It's just so like it hits you in the heart, like it really does.
And then the joy when normal Red Action pops up again, it has tears coming.
So quick. Yeah,
I have to admit,
a lot of emotions.
I have to admit, they got me. I thought this was sort of the Red finale. I thought they were actually going to go there, and then she came back. I was mixed feelings. I was so happy, but at the same time, alternate timelines. I don't like that. It's so convoluted, but still.
But look, if it keeps Red Action in the show, I'm okay with it.
That's what I'm saying too. I'm about to say the same thing. I said, whatever, as long as we get the Red to stay on the show, but still,
Yeah, and so also, with the alternate timelines, K.O. has new shoes at the end, so that's nice. Yeah. First time he's wearing shoes ever in this show.
Maybe alternate timeline.
Those shoes too.
Maybe the alternate timeline will undo the whole dog episode.
What episode?
The ones when they're all furries at the end.
Oh, you must be from a different timeline. I'm sorry. Sorry for assuming that. Yeah, let's not talk about that. Let's see here. We have you mentioned the Black Ranger didn't show up, but we do have like appearances from Yellow Technique and Blue Power. I really like the Blue Power scene where she just shows up like, "Hi, Enid, how are you?" And like, how are you?
Just like checking in.
Yeah. So, it can be cool though if Yellow was in the same episode as Shannon for certain reasons, because I know her voice actress. No, because her voice actress is Kate Higgins, and she and Kari.
Yeah, I think you've mentioned this before. Yes.
All-time favorite series, Rick and Seven. That'd be kind of cool to see them together again, but So I do get something similar.
There's no reason for them to be together, so if you keep that in your fan fiction as well. I guess the main story of this is that the Red Action is called into the future for this never-ending war, and Enid shows up and realizes, it's organic matter that can get through the force field. So this part here where a Red Action is suddenly like, we could have all been wiped out, and like tells Enid to go back. So like, is that actually Red Action being serious? Or...
Yeah, because she's been in it for like at least 3 years now. So I feel like her perspective has just really changed now that it's like a huge part of her life. So I thought that was pretty believable, and the fact that Enid told her off, I was like, oh, because she's like mortified about it after the fact. But like, I feel like it's good she did it. So she was standing up for herself.
I'm trying to wonder from Red from now on, is she kind of similar to like 30-year-old Marco Diaz from Star in terms of he lived a whole different life, but he's able to just continue on like it never happened, or
because her old. Yeah.
She has no memories of that. Okay.
Yeah, they explained that future Red Action told this Red Action to stay. Okay. So this Red Action
still past Red Action.
Yeah. Okay, so she has no clue what happens in the future either. So.
Well, she knows vaguely that she defeats the war and what the secret is, but she's like the older her is like, yeah, you got time for that later. Enjoy being in this timeline for now.
Oh, you see why time travel drives me crazy.
The point is that the future Red Action told the present Red Action to enjoy Enid while she can, and so that's a better life for her. Good for her.
Both Red Actions know how important Enid is to them.
Yes. Finally, double dip laser chips or triple dip laser chips? Which do you guys prefer?
Triple, all the lasers. They should make 4.
They should do quadruple.
I don't know. I feel like that would be kind of an overload of flavor.
I think you work up to it. You eat enough of like the double, and then you like that starts being not enough, and then you got to upgrade to get your high back.
Well, I do love how Red kind of trolled K.O. saying, "Bad news, we don't make the double dip no more. We have the triple dip now."
Yeah, Red Action's always got good comedic timing.
Yeah.
Also, I think did her hair look a little different than last episode? I don't know, but I just feel like her hair looked cooler in this episode than I remembered it being.
I know.
Now we've gone through all 3 episodes. We have 1 more remaining, and somehow we left Dendy for last.
Yeah.
Okay, so let me try to express my problems with this episode. It looks so extra to me. Yeah, like I checked the storyboarders behind this, and it seems that their style is just this, like because it's Dave Allegra and Haewon Lee. And other episodes they've previously done. Let's watch the Botsmore show. I expressed a similar issue with that.
The Botsmore show, though, it's so good. Oh my god!
Like the Perfect Meal. That was also a kind of a cartoonier looking episode.
That is true.
Yeah.
So like I don't know, like K.O. is a very cartoony show, don't get me wrong, but like just this particular style it like gets to me sometimes, especially all the weird faces they make K.O. do in this episode. And Shannon herself, like I think we agree that Shannon is a good character. Like here they've gone all out of making her kind of like a Matrix monster.
Yeah.
Almost.
I thought though they kind of mixed things up a bit because I kind of thought that they have established Ernesto as Dendy's like main like Boxmore children's like nemesis, and they sort of break from that by having a Dendy Shannon episode.
Okay, yeah, I'm pretty sure you floated that at some point in our previous podcast.
But I am happy though we got a Dendy Shannon episode. I think it's perfectly timed with season 2 of Fooly Cooly coming soon. We kind of got a reunion here with Dendy and Shannon. The voice actors.
Carrie Walgren's got a busy month for sure. Michelle, your thoughts on this episode?
I like Dendy. I don't know. I mean, I think we all agree I like that they talk so much about coding.
Yeah, that's true. I don't want to bury that. Like the coding stuff is actually pretty good. I like that little flashback where they show Dendy as a kid learning, and it's like anybody can be a coder.
Exactly. Her message is just like it's like being an artist. Like just like do a lot of practice, and you'll learn a lot, and you'll get better, and then before you know it, you can do it maybe as a career. I think that's a great message for everyone, including kids.
Yeah.
You too can be a coder.
There is no bad Dendy episode. It's just difference in quality. Even like the worst like written episode, if Dendy's in it, she can carry it to make it enjoyable.
Yeah, I think Dendy in this episode is like what makes it a very interesting episode.
Yeah.
Like I'm trying to figure out if my issues with it is just visual or if there's something about the episode itself that doesn't feel right. But I can't really pinpoint it.
I think I might know what it is because a lot of the Dendy episodes we've had have focused a lot on her characterization, right? Like she learned something new, or her and K.O. like take on racism or something.
Yeah.
Or she learns to be more empathetic. But like this one, she's really just, making mods for POW cards. Then they defeat the Spider Shannon. And that's like kind of low key. And I think we're just not used to Dendy episodes that don't have some kind of like, character arc. Because we've really been having that a lot. So that might be what we feel like we're lacking.
I can't believe you guys have not brought this up yet. And that is, again, Dendy is inside Rad's van. She definitely might have a crush on him. She's hanging around Rad's van again.
Well, under the van.
Under the van, experimenting on small creatures.
For some reason, the dog is in the van. I'm not going to question that.
Best not to question that.
Yeah, but no, Michelle, I think you have a point there. That like this episode, when Dendy first showed up, I think we did express a little bit of the worry of like Dendy is only going to show up to solve problems or like be kind of the fixer. But like they've avoided that for the most part in giving her a lot of character moments.
Yeah.
But in this episode, she is kind of just the problem solver. So, but
which I don't mind that just because we've had so much before this to establish her characterization. So I don't mind it, but it is kind of like we've been fed so much good growth stuff with Dendy whenever we meet her that it does feel a little like, oh, that's it. Oh, okay. Yay. They upgraded. They leveled up, I guess. That's something that changed.
Yeah, okay. So here's another thing. A reminder. Power levels don't matter in this show. Like, K.O. is the same power level as Rad, right?
Yeah, he is.
It's about the self-esteem. That's what it's mainly is about.
I'm glad
it's all an ego
leveled
trip.
up.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. If we learn anything from that P.O.I.N.T episode, it's all about the ego.
Yeah, because also, like, in that episode, they're like, oh, you don't have enough strong local power levels to deal with this. And then, like, Enid ends up solving it anyway,
exactly.
So it's like, what's the point? But, yeah, so, whatever, on power levels. But admittedly, Dendy being excited at the end was very nice. But did we know that Dendy had the power of electricity?
I don't know.
I would believe her backpack could do anything, honestly.
Yeah.
Yeah, I guess. But, so the Dendy apparently can super jump using electricity through her feet.
Nothing Dendy does would surprise me. Except maybe having superhuman strength, maybe, but
she's kind of like
even that would
surprise
surprise
me that way.
Yeah, she can build a robot with superhuman strength. I'm sure.
Yeah.
Let's see. Admittedly, while I was whining about the visual style, there is a lot of good visual gags in this episode. In the coding flashback, she's reading a book called Sapphire on Rails, a reference to Ruby on Rails, which is an actual coding language. Let's see here. She changes K.O.'s nose to the version of his nose in the pilots. So that was a nice thing.
Yeah.
Also, that the final battle scene was kind of an RPG style kind of thing, where like they're just standing in one place and like bouncing up and down. And I think at the end when they win, K.O. puts up a peace sign. It reminds me of like the Mario and Luigi games, where like I feel like Luigi would do that whenever they finish the battle.
Yeah, they would do that.
Yes, that was an interesting. Somehow the show continues to do battle sequences in a way like they always find ways to spice it up so that it never gets boring, which I'm very impressed by, because there are other shows that I get very bored by battle sequences, and like this show does them very often and in various ways. So I appreciate that about this show.
Well, I wonder though, since if Dendy's going to get an episode like with each of the robots, when is the Dendy Raymond episode coming? Can't wait for.
Yeah, no Raymond in this batch.
No Rad either.
Yeah,
just
barely any Rad. Rad in this episode, he has a card. He's like, it captures my true essence because he's muscular. But then cats show up. So
the cat background.
Yeah, a reminder that Rad likes cats, in case you forgot. And finally, just a very obvious visual gag. It's in the cloud, and it's a literal cloud.
Yeah.
So that was fun.
I liked that.
Oh, and also, I guess Dendy is very open, very supportive of open source. At some point, she says something like, "Information is free and meant to be shared."
Yeah, Dendy's so precious.
Wonder if that has a message about pro net neutrality message by the show's creators.
I mean, it wouldn't surprise me.
They did one about gun control, so they could do something like net neutrality.
Yeah, I guess that's another thing. Like, this episode does feel like, because it's very cartoony, it doesn't feel like... Well, I think, Michelle, you mentioned at some point, like, Dendy episodes often have a message behind them. And, like, this episode did have potential for that, but it never really did that, which is fine. But it's just, like, there is stuff to play with here.
Well, I mean, I think it's just that, like, the message of, mods should be open source, coding should be something people share. That's brought up in the first 2 minutes, and then the greater arc of the episode is more about defeating Spider Shannon. So it wasn't that was something they really wanted to hit on in a more complex way at all.
I forgot my favorite parts. Shannon disguised herself to try to get that stuff, and Dendy Sue right through it and gave her what she wanted anyway. I love that.
Terrible wig work by
Yeah.
Shannon, by the way.
I love that she keeps having that really, really bad human disguise, and she keeps thinking it's gonna work.
Yeah, is that the only wig she owns?
I think it is. I really do.
I'm pretty sure they're making fun of Team Rocket, of Pokemon, how they have all these lousy. Team Rocket has all these lousy disguises, but the good guys always fall for it.
Yeah, but Dendy's a smart person, so
yeah.
she figures things out. But so yeah, coding is cool, guys.
Coding is cool.
We should learn it sometimes. Yeah. So with that, I guess we've covered the 4 episodes here. At the end of the day, how would you rank these? Since I do think we agree, like aside from Dendy's. Aside from Dendy's power, like the other 3 episodes are kind of on similar quality, I would say personally. But what about you guys?
Yeah, I
mean,
Michelle?
yes, it depends on your preference.
Yeah,
like I think you could shuffle them any way you like, but like if you had to pick a favorite out of these 4, which one would you go?
My rankings: Red Action to the Future, number 1. Number 2, Point to the Plaza. Number 3, T.K.O.'s house, and I can't believe it. Number 4, Dendy's powers. I just can't believe it because I love Dendy. I mean, how could you rank 4th?
It's just within these 4 episodes.
Yeah.
Like,
Right.
I feel like I'm betraying
it's
her.
still better than a bunch of OKKO episodes, probably. Michelle?
I think TKO's house for me is gonna be number 1. It just had a lot of amazing gestures, and I love TKO as a character. Like I really do. Like we don't talk about it a lot, but Courtney Taylor has a pretty great range for voice acting, and that she's able to distinguish normal KO's voice from TKO's voice so well every time. I think that's pretty awesome. I think that one just like had like more going on, and there was more plot stuff, and I loved like the team that boarded it, and so that's my number 1. Number 2, Red Action. Number 3, Dendy. Number 4, Point.
Oh, okay. Dendy's power over Point.
Mm-hmm,
Okay.
definitely.
Okay.
Yeah.
I think I go 1 Red Action, 2 TKO, 3 Point to the Plaza, and 4 Dendy's power.
Same as me.
But
Wow. I feel like not that much happened in Point, like in the Point episode.
Well,
like it seemed like a very like.
Well, it's an Enid's episode.
Yeah, but like Enid is very nice in that episode.
Actually, my top 2 episodes were Enid episodes.
I guess she had more characterization in that episode than Dendy did.
And it hints at possibly Ellie return, so that kind of pulls it up my
yeah,
list.
that's a
Right.
you thing. I don't care about that.
But
But,
for me, yeah.
no, but I could be convinced to put Dendy's power ahead just because like it does have a lot of visual jokes, and I'm always a sucker for that stuff. So like I could be
You wanna
bought
change
into
your-
moving it.
Yeah, you should. Okay.
Sure, and also Fooly Cooly reunion. That's got me.
You already mentioned that, but good job. I know you want to try cross promoting here, but yeah, we'll be waiting for our OKKO to talk about at some point.
Yeah.
Usually I would say what episodes are scheduled, but actually I don't think we have episode titles
I
beyond this.
I don't know when new stuff's gonna.
So, I don't know what happened. Originally, we were supposed to get 16 episodes this month, but they took 4 away for some reason.
Well, we don't know that there could be some surprise drop at the end of the month or something, but we'll see if there are episodes at the end of the month or later on. We'll be here to talk about them.
I feel like there will be more probably in the summer, the legit summer, but I don't know.
That could be it too.
the summer of OKKO.
I would be so here for the summer of OKKO.
Let's do a podcast every day.
No.
Getting more flashbacks to Steven.
I mean, provided we could keep each episode to like 10 minutes and like I cut out all of your Elodie mentions.
I think this is very doable if we approach it with that outline, actually. Yeah.
But whatever we decide to do, you'll be able to find it on the Overly Animated feed. Wherever you find us, you can look up previous episodes of our discussions here. Perhaps try to fact check us on stuff that we forgot or stuff that we've talked about and have changed our minds in this episode. You can go through our archive at overlyanimated.com. You can also chat with us directly on Discord at overlyanimated.com/Discord if you want to talk to us about OKKO or any other animated show there. Support us financially via Patreon at patreon.com/overlyanimated. We always want to thank our current patrons, especially our patron of the podcast, John, aka Johnny Bravo. And thanks as always to our Patreon executive producers, John, Ryan, Steve, Andy, and Hugh. Besides OKKO, we've got we're gonna have DuckTales coming up. There are also some DuckTales episodes to talk about soon.
I promise there'll be another My Little Pony reference on that one.
No, I forbid you. There's some Steven Universe episodes, discussions that you can go through in the past. There's the recent Mysticons podcast as well. But yeah, we talk about a wide variety of shows here, so whatever your tastes are from OKKO, you can always branch out to other shows we cover here at Overly Animated. But yeah, any final thoughts, guys, before we sign off?
I hope Boxman comes back at some point.
Oh, yeah, no Botsman, no Botsman, no Daryl.
No Daryl either. Yeah,
I could use a break from Daryl. That's fine.
Wow.
Wow. I want to see more Cowboy Daryl. He's grown on me. I'll see more of him.
I want to see more Dendy, of course. I want to see maybe can one episode top Dendy. I don't think that's possible.
Yeah, so we leave you with the motto of this podcast: more Dendy.
Right.
It's always more Dendy. But yeah, so whenever we get more OKKO, we'll be here to talk about it. But until then, adios.
Bye.